Hello YouTube, Mr. Evans here with my vlog number 110. Today is Tuesday and the time is about 8 o'clock. I am here so much later than I need to be. That's not even, I don't know if that's true or not. I just am here very late. Like even for me this is, no, you know what, 8 o'clock is not that late typically, but I don't know why I'm here this late. I feel like I should have been done a while ago. Anyways, it is what it is. Just gonna make the best of it. Today was definitely, it felt like one of those marathon days, you know? The first full day back. You're gonna have to excuse me that I'm gonna have to have some water. Like I said, just a very tiring day. But it sort of makes sense that it felt like a marathon. Because, you know, this is the first full day back from break. It's gonna feel long, but also we're in that awkward part of the year where the time between breaks is so long. Like a lot of times that's really what you're doing is even if you get like one day off, you're counting down the days until that day arrives. Okay, come on, give me the Monday off, you know? And that's what you're waiting for. You're just like, okay, I'm only gonna make it 2 weeks and then I get a nice 3-day weekend, I can relax and I'll be ready to go. It's sort of counting out your paces between restorative times, which is kind of what you have to do. It's a little bit like, you know, checking your fuel gauge between gas stations, right? But right now, I mean, this is one of those things that happens sometimes, right? If you're gonna hit a long stretch without any gas stations, you're gonna have to be going for a while, and you better make sure that that tank is full, and you better make sure that you are being careful. And it's gonna be a little nerve-wracking sometimes. And that's the point where we're at, you know? We don't have our next break until after March, and it is currently not even March. So this is the part of the year where burnout really starts to rear its ugly head, and its shadow kind of lies over everything. We're all afraid to burn out right now. But it's not because this part of the year is so much harder, it's just that it's so much longer. We have to deal with so much more for such an extended period of time without any restorative self-care as part of it. But we're not alone in that. That's the case with most teachers. And so today, even though we're barely into it, I definitely kind of felt it. I think there's just this sort of mentality of like, you can kind of settle into a pattern. There's nothing to break you out of it. With the exception of one of the things that really made me smile today, so I'm gonna save that for the end. But let me go ahead and share the wonder quote of the day. Today's wonder quote is by Sir Philip Sidney. "They are never alone that are accompanied with noble thoughts." And I think that, you know, it's a little hard to understand what was his name even? Sir Philip something? Sir Philip Sidney. I was thinking Edmund Hillary for some reason, but that's the guy who climbed Everest. Anyways, Sir Philip Sidney, that guy. Not sure what the context of that quote is, but I think what he's talking about is there's times where it seems like everything is stacked against you, but you have that good intention, right? You're trying your best, you're moving forward. And that's kind of what I try to keep to. And I definitely think that that has applied today. My students are getting ready for the LPAC, which is a huge deal for them. And, you know, we get it advised to us all the time, like you really got to get them prepared, spiral it out, get started way early in the year with this stuff. But it just has always kind of felt like, I don't know, the skills that it tests for, like it's not so much that I have a problem with teaching to the test. It's just that, you know, the test is, you know, it's testing for things that I'm going to teach them anyway. And so I'd have to basically be doing like practice LPAC questions every day for the entire year, which I guess wouldn't be so bad, but you know, I'm already sort of helping them get practice. Like one big thing that I've done is whenever I am asking them to make an inference about just one of the questions that I ask them in the reading, whenever I'm asking them to make an inference, I always say, make an inference, and I always make sure to explain to them. An inference means the book doesn't tell you, but you can figure it out based on what is in the book. And then today we're reviewing LPAC questions. We practice LPAC questions. I guess I should point that out. I don't have access to the test yet. That's the thing. But yeah, they have these LPAC practice books, and we're talking about this one question where infer is in there, and I said, like, you guys are prepared for questions like this. So, it's like we are preparing them, right? We're teaching them to read and to write, and so they're learning this stuff already. So I do have that noble thought of, like, let's try and move forward, but today I really tried to go one step beyond. And it felt a little lonely. It did, because we have these practice books with practice questions. They're released questions where they've been on tests in the past, but they're not anymore. And so I was working with the students on it. I decided a while ago that, like, I'm just going to use this as the workbook this week, and just every day we'll go through a different section, which I think was really smart. But the reason I say it feels lonely is that it's such traditional teaching. And I am a traditional teacher in some ways. Well, in a lot of ways, I guess. I incorporate technology, and I try to do gamification, and I'm always trying things. But so like, even though I follow more the traditional model, today really felt like this is like they don't even need their tablets. It's multiple choice questions. Circle the correct answer. Like, it just felt like, man, this doesn't feel good. And it can't feel that good to the students either. It just can't. But again, that thing I had to remind myself is, what our friend Sir Philip Sidney said, right? Might be lonely, but it's a noble intention. I'm doing something, I'm providing them with something that they need. And that was something I even said to one of the classes at one point. They kept messing around, talking to each other and stuff, and I didn't get mad, I didn't pop off on them, I just said, guys, you need this information. And I'm going to do my best to provide it to you. But if you choose not to receive it, if you choose to let something else be a priority right now, you are going to regret it, because you won't be prepared. And I guess that was one of the first moments that really made me smile, is that they responded to that. With young people, I think there's all sorts of internal information coming out, right? And it's always in conflict. They are social, and they like to have fun, and they've got a lot of energy. But I don't know, them being able to pay attention after that was kind of a reminder that there's a responsible voice inside them too, and it's just, there's the two voices shouting, and they have to choose one to listen to. It's really nice to to get that reminder that the responsible voice is in there, and we just have to connect with it. We have to speak to it and make sure that they hear it a little bit louder, right? Ooh, that was a long sentence. But I think you get the idea. Exciting or not, this is what they need, and so this is what I'm going to give them, and I hope to go on with that tomorrow, so I'll tell you more about that then. I already gave you my first moment that made me smile. There was another thing that made me smile, which was that there's this one issue that's sort of been cropping up. Again, I don't want to get too specific here, but it has been happening multiple times. I'm seeking help for it, but it's one of these things where it's like I can't really handle it alone. And today, when the issue came up, I had my students actually on my side. They were actually helping me to make sure that the problem didn't get out of hand. And the whole class, it was just kind of really cool to see that this is not going to be me fighting to maintain control of my class. This is them willingly going along with it. Not even surrendering control, agreeing with what my control is saying, that they're like, yeah, we don't want this problem either. I wish I could be more specific there, but just suffice it to say, it's nice to know that with that particular class, and I think most of my other classes, I'm not going to have to fight with them to resolve that problem. And the last thing that made me smile is today's Mardi Gras YouTube, or Shrove Tuesday, or Fat Tuesday in some places, or National Pancake Day. It's all kind of the same thing, right? It's all, let's have a lot of fun and do all the things that we're not supposed to do. You know, in a way that you know what Mardi Gras is. I was very surprised. My students, I don't think there was one student that knew what Mardi Gras was. Most of my students would look at the Do Not question said today's Mardi Gras, a day where people try to have all the fun they can before Lent. What's something you like to do for fun? Most of my students read that question and said, Mr. Evan, what's Mardi Gras? Like, that was the thing I got. And it was just like, it was, I mean, right away I was like, okay, they need to know about this. You know, it's not like Mardi Gras is this big important thing, and if you don't know it, you're missing out. But it's like, for them not to even know that it's pronounced Mardi Gras is like, they wear the beads all the time, the little plastic beads, and that comes from Mardi Gras. So I was like, you know, whenever I have the opportunity to kind of enlighten them about their own culture, that sounds very pompous, but you get the idea. Whenever I have the opportunity to give them some insight in a way that's not just about my content area, but is actually going to be relevant in their lives, I think it's really cool. And I got to explain not only Mardi Gras, but Lent, which I was surprised how many students didn't know what Lent was, because I know we have a lot of Christian families, and it is a Christian observance. But anyways, that's what I got to do with them, which was one of the things I got to do with them, which that made me smile. I like being able to do stuff like that with them. Oh, YouTube. I did not think I was going to have anything to say before I started talking. And now I've talked forever, my breath is gone, I am tired, and it is time for me to get home. And I have taken up enough of your time. So I'm going to go ahead and end the vlog right there. But thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, YouTube.